Do you want to be a thermometer or a thermostat? That is, do you want to take the temperature of the room or do you want to set the temperature of the room? Let's unpack both of these. Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Cornwell with Get Taped here in Atlanta, Georgia, one of Atlanta's original audition taping services, which I co-own with my amazingly talented, she is, beautiful wife and best friend, Brooke. Okay, two quick anecdotes. You ever heard of Flo from Progressive or Lily from AT&T? Of course you have. Well, believe it or not, both of these roles were intended to be one-off commercials, not years-long campaigns. Yep. Now, what was the deciding factor that turned these into hugely successful campaigns, not just for the companies, but for the actresses' bank accounts? Improv. In both cases, while on the set of the first commercial in the campaign, the only commercial in that campaign, both of these actresses have shared in interviews that you can find on the internet that they did something in that first spot that made the producers and the client light up and realize, ooh, there's more to this character. But let me be clear, this wasn't like jokey joke improv just for the sake of ego and for making a few people laugh. No. By the way, that's the huge misconception about improv, is that the only purpose is to make people laugh. It's not. These two actresses had the presence of mind and the knowledge about their characters and the tone of their respective spots to contribute, to collaborate. They were both being thermostats. They were setting the temperature of their respective rooms or sets. This is such a distinct difference from being a thermometer. Think about it. A thermometer has no effect on the room. It just sits there measuring passively. It's not a perfect metaphor, but it does point to a mindset that many of you are stuck in. You're so desperate to please the casting director or the client or the director or even your reps. And so all of your choices are in an effort to hopefully get it right. Maybe. Sound familiar? It may not even be a conscious fear. It might be a subconscious limitation that you're placing on yourself. Think of the average audition that you prep for, commercial, TV, or film, 3 lines, 2 pages, whatever. Let's say that you do research on the show or the director or the product if it's a commercial. Great. You're narrowing down the infinite choices to something appropriate for your character, the project, the show, the commercial, etc. But once the boundaries of the playground have been established, how do you play within those bounds? Forgive me for switching metaphors mid-video. Classic Matt. But once you're on that playground, are you constantly looking back to mom and dad to see if you're playing right? When you were 5, you didn't do that on the playground. In fact, you probably forgot that your mom or dad even existed because you were so focused on playing. Except when you needed to go get that Hi-C juice box or when you wanted to show off what you were doing. Mom, watch. Mom, watch. Are you watching? Watch. So as an actor, if you simply stick to the rules of how to navigate the slide, the monkey bars, the swings, etc., well, then you're making safe choices that 80% of the other actors are doing for the same role. And it's not memorable. It's not charismatic. You're not leaving a lasting impression on those who are watching. Have you considered, oh gosh, this is another metaphor, looking at all of the white space that is on the script and thinking of that proportion of the white space to the ink as an invitation for you to collaborate? What ideas do you have? Ooh, I've got some. Maybe I'll climb up the slide instead of sliding down it. Or maybe I'll actually climb on top of the monkey bars or hang upside down from the monkey bars. And on the swings, I'm going to lay on my stomach and ride the swing like Superman. Yeah. Despite all these metaphors, I hope you see where I'm going with this. That 5-year-old you used to be that you've probably lost touch with it, played freely because there were no consequences of doing it wrong. How can you play on a playground wrong? And so as we've grown up into these adult bodies, what society has unfortunately taught us is that there are consequences to our actions. And so this is where it could be unconscious. You might have let the fear of doing it wrong squelch your creativity. I mean, it's a simple equation. The more fear you have of the outcome of the consequences, the less creative you will be, period. It's science, probably. Because when there's a job at stake, when there's money, when there's the potential of making insurance this year, riding on the line of this commercial or this TV show or film, then that creates consequences. That creates fear of not booking, and that in turn sucks the creativity right out of your head, right out of that audition room. You end up being a thermometer, trying to read the temperature of the room accurately, hoping that you made an accurate prediction of what they wanted. And when I say room in the thermometer metaphor, I don't mean exactly the audition room. It could be the audition room, it could be the Zoom, it could be on set. It's wherever you're doing your creative act. Meanwhile, those of us with training, specifically improv training, are lighting up with ideas for the character, ways of filling in that white space on the script. In fact, just recently I was on a TV show where, as my character left the first scene, there was an opportunity, as I saw it, for a little bit of physical comedy as I exited. And it was initially intended just to give the lead actor something to play off of as I left. I didn't even think the camera would see what I was doing, but the director did. And the director decided to add a whole other setup to the day's schedule, which takes time and therefore money, all because he wanted to capture this thing that I contributed to the role. So in that example, I was being a thermostat. I was setting the temperature of the room by contributing to my character, by showing them what was possible, by showing them that I had taken ownership of the character and of my piece of this collaborative art. So, are you a thermometer, passively hoping that you're going to get it right? Or are you a thermostat using your training, intellect, and discernment to collaborate, to fill in that white space on the scripted page? There are, of course, so many more nuances to this topic and all of those mixed metaphors that I used. So feel free to leave a comment or question below. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on set.